Well, good morning and welcome to Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast. And it's brought to you by our Facing the Lion Healing Center. Our healing center is always open for your convenience. Anyone can come, and we invite you. Come be a part of our live audience on Friday, ongoing 11:30 a.m. is our start time. We welcome anyone. And don't forget, it's also live on Facebook, right here where you're listening at facebook.com/vibe talk. We start at 11:30 and you can be a part of our audience. Today, we are talking about transformation. What is the worst parts of transformation for you and for me? I think by now that you all have a pretty good source of what transformation is and what it is not. But have we really thought about the murky parts, the not so welling parts of transformation? We're going to talk about that. As you know, you've come to Vibe Talk and you pretty much know what to expect. Good morning, Trish.
Good morning.
And when we change something, we're changing something into a positive. Just one moment. How are you today?
I'm doing better today.
Oh, okay. Love to hear it. So, when you transform, let's look at the transformation parts. Let's look at the parts that we don't think about. Because you hear us say on Tuesday, Transformation Tuesday, which is that day today. But now, let's think about why it may not be so easy. As you know, transformation is a way of thinking and doing things. What do we call that? The way we think, the way we do things. We really think that it's about how long we have done something. And some of us are creatures of habit. Are you a creature of habit? Or a human of habit, I should say. Human of habit. Let's dignify ourselves. Are you, Trish, a human of a habit or two?
Yes, I am.
And you want to tell us about that?
Yes, I am a human of habit, and sometimes it's hard for me to change, even if it's a bad habit, such as eating a lot, like overeating, something like that. For an example, it's not good for you. The stomach your stomach starts to hurt, and then it's not healthy. And sometimes it's hard to change that habit because you're so used to it. And also fear of change. There's also that. So yeah, I'm a human of habit. So yeah.
Yeah. With me, it's always doing the same thing as like driving. I am a human of habit when it comes to that. I will go exactly the same way every day, and it's hard to change because I've been doing it so long. But I want us to be able to think about transformations, and I want us to be able to think about how we can, you know, um, we think about the butterfly and the transformation of the butterfly. And that's not an easy thing for the butterfly to become this beautiful creature, but yet it changes from that creepy, crawling caterpillar. And there are breakthroughs. And sometimes the hardest part of us is breaking through so that we can become. I'm going to leave that right there. Because I asked you the question of what would you like to become as you transform? Because sometimes we have things that people that are timid. We have people that have ambition. We have people that fear. Spoke about that, Trish. Um, but now let's think about the creators and those who want to get through. They want to change something, and they find it in their goals, in their blood to want to level up. They're ready to deliver. They're ready to achieve this transformation. They are priority seekers. Whatever they want to change, they are ready to do it. I've spoken to people who wanted to change something. Perhaps it's a goal of stop smoking. You know what the people said? The people that I've talked to, that to quit smoking was the hardest thing that they've ever done. Quit smoking. But do you know what the others have said? When they were tired of wasting their money, when they were tired of smoke, when they were tired of spending so much money, they were the ones who set their priorities to stop smoking. No one pushed them to say, you should stop smoking, quote, unquote. Want to make sure we say that because we're not here to tell you what to do. These are real interviews, real conversations. While the others say, I'm not ready. I want to, but I'm not quite ready. So we see that priority, being ready. Have you broken through as you're ready to make a change? Your transformation to you may feel like the worst that you've ever gone through. It may feel ugly. It may feel out of place. It may feel dark, uncertain. But I want you to know that transformation is something that you must do. As we look at life, people ask questions when you transform or make changes to your life. How did you do it? What made you do it? When did you do it? And where did you decide? Did anyone notice the 4 things that I always say are the most important when you're deciding to do something? What, when, how, where? You must ask yourself 4 questions. And that could be the transformation that you may need right here, right now. Because as people listen, everybody has a different reasons for why they do what they do. Transformation. Is it hard? Is it going to be long term? Is it difficult? And right now, as you are listening to a Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast, what are you thinking about changing? Or have you graduated one level more to say, I've not only thought about changing something, I'm in the process. You notice I said the word process. I'm in the process of changing what needs to be changed. What can you do? The worst part of transformation looks different for so many people. You know, that's the part that looks dark. That's the part where the butterfly is not yet the butterfly, but he's going through the process. He's just beginning to go through the process of becoming the butterfly with the wings that can fly his wings. And they can say, look at my wings, without a word. Because isn't that true? Had an example of a butterfly the other day, and I think it's fitting for what we are talking about. Butterfly was beautiful. I got to see its wings. It has some blues and some patterns of orange and a little bit of yellow. I got to see it close up. Do you know where it was? It was in the hood of someone's truck. Now, that butterfly that had transformed, would you say, had difficulty? The butterfly had a challenging situation, but I saw the beauty of the butterfly. It didn't know that it was going to be headed smack into someone's truck. And as I touched the wing, it was very light. Why am I telling you this story? This real life experience. Because we talk about growth. Unless you're dead, your process should be to keep going. We are more superior than any butterfly. But yet that butterfly was beautiful in its destination. It was still beautiful. Could we say that it tried on its journey? Life is full of uncertainties. Life is full of challenges. But you don't have to stop making changes. Would you say that that's a good definition of change, or the worst of transformation? Because you see, that butterfly came out of a dark, murky place, not expecting, like the human brain can think about how life is so delicate. But that butterfly tried. Transformation can be hard. Transformation can be difficult. But can you at least say, I've tried? I've tried. But then you say, like some people do, I continue to keep my goal of not smoking. I didn't smoke for years, and I started it back. Obviously, somewhere along the line, there were challenges that were very difficult. But yet, those non-smokers may have had what we call relapse. Relapse, and we'll talk about that because I think relapse are important. We like to show you the positive of it so that it gets you to think. But now, what makes it so that you feel as if I keep trying, and as I try, I feel like I'm failing? Because you see, the butterfly that was in the hood of that car didn't think that. I never thought for 1 minute that that butterfly failed. I yet kept my brain on a positive note to get to see such a beautiful butterfly. And as it was stuck in the hood of that car, I began to realize the fragility of the butterfly. Let me talk to you humans for a moment. You are fragile. As I touched the wing, I knew not to pull on it, because it had already been challenged enough. I yet thought about the beauty, the color. Do we realize the beauty in our life that yet we're still alive and we keep trying? For those of you who feel like you want to give up, challenge yourself. Sometimes we feel like we're failing because we have a lack of something. There's the what. I always want you to identify what is in your life that makes you, or what is not in your life that makes you feel like you have failed. And that part, whatever it is, some people's life may be they don't feel aligned in their thoughts, in their goals. They don't see the breakthrough. poor communication. There are steps. How do you regain the power to fly your wings? Today's topic is transforming while breaking through. We know that things fail. Or as I say, because I don't like the word failure. Failure to me is already a negative. Yeah, and I'm speaking to you teachers because I know that you're somewhere out here listening somewhere. When you write the big F on people's papers, that F, when they see it, they already know that it's a failure. Maybe we can think of something else better to do. Maybe write a little note that keep trying and write the score. Because when you see that hard F that's in a red, teachers and students alike, you're already feeling like the challenge has been lost. So we like to say challenge. It's a little easier on sight. Sometimes when we don't challenge our transformation and find a breakthrough, do you feel that change is necessary? When is that change necessary? Do we take the initiative in breaking through when transformation happens? We all have eyes. Do we see that change may not be identified? And everybody likes to talk, right? Trish, you like to talk? It's a question.
Sometimes.
Yeah. We all like to talk. But here's where we need to start thinking. How are we communicating when it comes to making that change? Do we just keep talking about it? There are those people that can be clearly identified. They keep talking and they keep talking about doing something. And you talk to them after time goes by, they haven't done it yet. Or they're not talking about the change because they never have pure intent to even change. They're just talking to have conversation. In Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast, this is about real impact. If you've got poor communication and you say, I want to change, I heard you. But here's where the listening part happens, where I can see my change, and this is where you can see your change and you can actually improve. Don't just talk. Stand on business. If you talk, stand on what you say. You ever heard the saying, you mean what you say, they mean what they say? Be clear. You have nothing to prove to others but yourself. You always should prove to yourself that you accept the challenge of transitioning, no matter how it looks. It can always be challenged. Many people have challenged themselves, not only just about to stop smoking. People have stopped using drugs, and they'll tell you, I've been sober 20 years, 30 years, a year. That, ladies and gentlemen, is real transition, because it's not an easy thing. We can take something as simple as dieting. People go on diets. You know, they're the people that you will hear say, I need to go on a diet. And then you have a bag of cookies and they say, I'm on a diet. You see the difference there? Not just talking, but doing. So they've already made in their mind that this is priority for them. That no matter how many bags of cookies, chips, cake you're going to offer them, they're going to stick and stand on business. And you get to see their change, because now their change, you can see it through, wow, they lost weight. Wow, they feel healthy. Wow. They don't have to tell you. You get to see it. That's a beautiful thing. There are darker sides of transforming before you actually do it, just like the butterfly. Sometimes there are challenges. Sometimes in our life, there are things that we are unable to change, or not able, I should say. There are things that may be in our behavioral patterns. But I want you to think about something. Celebrate moments, and there are moments that you say, I did it. There are people who are dealing with depression. And for them to just get up, get out of bed, they're not even going to make the bed. Just the point that they got up is a moment to celebrate. We're talking about people that are dealing with different types of depression. We're not doctors here. I am a certified life coach, counselor. And I'm not here to tell you what to do. Let's get that straight. But your mind is one of the most amazing things besides the heart that you can gain power to learn to use it so that you can make decisions that are going to make you happy, that are going to make your transition happy while there are things in your life. I said that about the depression is because I've experienced that. You've experienced that. We're not doctors. If you are depressed for any length of time and it doesn't look like change, I would seriously recommend that you talk to a medical doctor. But that's an example, and I always want to correct myself because we've been here 6 years and we don't get into legal battles. So think about, what are you wanting to change? Sometimes people who have become sober They are so excited that they start to tell everybody, hey, I don't drink. Hey, I haven't drank and I haven't drank in 30 days. And you or I may look at that and say, 30 days? He really thinks he's something, or she really thinks she's something. Let's go back to what I've said so we don't lose our course here through breakthroughs. You or I may think it's nothing for them to transition into sobriety, but they've worked hard. They've worked hard. And many of them have relapsed. From the start of their celebratory moments, they're excited and we cheer them on. We don't say, we'll see. What if we had that kind of attitude? No, we want them to understand. Even if their falls look like broken wings or broken mirrors, they can still have success. We say, get up, keep going. And I want to talk about the things that may trigger them. We have a whole podcast on triggering. Something triggers them. We want you to think about what it is that triggers you. Because, some people come back and they say, I started drinking again, or I started using drugs again. And so the question that I ask them is, what happened? I don't know is not good enough for me as a counselor in Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast. We go through visuals to find out what happened. Because if they say, I don't know, I'm educated enough to know how to get them to identify what caused that challenge. What caused it? You see that butterfly that was in the trunk or the hood of that car that I saw? It plainly told me what ended the butterfly's life. Notice I said it, because I could visibly see the literal root. Butterfly is so beautiful in detail. And yet, it had a real crash course. So what are the crashes in our lives that present for us these relapse? Or these uncomfortable moments? Because I would be lying if I told you that I didn't have a relapse. But doesn't mean I can't be successful. You can still be the same beautiful butterfly. As a butterfly that crashed into the car or however that happened, there's no denying that it's still beautiful. You are that person. Fly your wings. We want you to know that even when you're celebrating in the early months of your sobriety, in the early months of your breakthroughs, take one day at a time. And even if that's too much, take 1 hour. is hard to change. Nobody talks about what really happens, and that's why I want to bring it to your attention. When you see this picture that we have, it explains it. What do we ignore? Why are we ignoring the discomfort? They're going to be discomforts because you're challenged to think new. You're called upon to be an example. Like that butterfly, you can be beautiful. But nobody wants to talk about the relapse. We live in a real world. Let's see. Stress, pressure, stress. The list goes on. Stress, pressure. Now you got to find the root of what's causing the stress, what's causing the pressure. We think about time. People say time is the essence. I want to make these changes now. Right now, today. And before hearing this podcast, there was a lot of you who thought that way. So everything that I'm saying here is nothing new under the sun. We limit ourselves. How many of you knew that you could limit yourself? How many of you knew that already? Did you know that, Trish?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, we could limit ourselves. How so? Because we are not open. And there's no punishing people because they're not open. I want you to think about open-ended situations when you want to make a transformation of some sort. Maybe you feel that you're too challenged or not challenged enough. There is such a thing of being too challenged or not challenged enough. Because what may be right for you is not the same program that I would give somebody else in Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast. People don't think about open-ended. Remember when I first started to teach, one of my classes was about open-ended when it comes to classroom activities. And I thought about it. There is not one way to break through, to transform. You've got to think of other ways. Sometimes we are not dedicated enough to be able to transform. We're not committed. We're not a person that sticks to our word. We say things, but our actions prove different. So we have to think about how dedicated do I want to be to transform while breaking through, or breaking through while transforming. We have to remember that all our visions are different. What you might see, maybe I don't see that. It's kind of like the butterfly. I'm going to use that because I know you people are smart. I saw the butterfly, but I didn't think about, oh my goodness, it's dead. I focused on the beauty. because there was nothing that I could do about that butterfly and the lifeless wings I was looking at. You get my drift? Did you hear me loud enough? What I could do and what I could see is there are butterflies that are beautiful, and even they face challenges. And so it will be with you humans who are beautiful, mind, body, all working parts, even if you don't. The mind is a terrible thing to waste. That is the action that I must take if I'm going to do transformation. I must first think about it. What's my vision? People talk about visions. People use whiteboards. They use boards to remind themselves of things, so they make visual boards. I think that's important, what their goals are. My youngest son, I always appreciated the fact that he had a board in his room of his goals. And with these vision boards, oh yeah, they're cute, they're creative. If you don't stick to it, your challenge is that, to stick to it. Because you can make them very cute and creative. But it's for you to be able to see what your transformations are, to see the challenges that you faced while getting to that goal. Right? Because as the butterfly was in the hood of that car and its wings sticking out, the breakthrough was challenged, even while it had been its fullest form. Remember, I saw the true essence of the butterfly. So we understand the signs of transformation. I thought it. I planned it. And what's the next one? I did it. Transformation is always a breakthrough. No matter how you do it, it's always a breakthrough. We've talked about challenges. But why? What are some reasons that you have not done that? And we're not talking about a whole list of things. We're talking about the pivotal things that you know you need to change. See, because there's a mirror that you stand before every day, and that mirror, whether you realize it or not, it speaks back to you. Because what does it tell you? Hey, you don't look too shabby. You need to brush your teeth. Hey, there's a spot on your clothes. Hey, your hair is a mess. And it speaks to you in another way, in your inner soul. You know, the place where you think is dark, nobody hears your secrets, only you. See, there's nothing between you and that mirror. And you know that mirror tells you, hey, you need to get that together. Hey, remember last night? And I want to go back to something so that you really get the point. You know, there have been people that, you know, are in, before they got to sobriety, you know what they did? They looked at themselves in the mirror. They felt a mess. They took one mirror. They're waking up. Head hurts. And you know what they said to themselves? Wow. I gotta change this. This does not feel good. I want to tell you about a story, and this is a true story. There was a woman that was suffering an addiction. I'm not going to tell you what it was. And as she woke up the next day, she hated herself even more. As she looked into the mirror, she said, something's gotta change. Wow. As that mirror spoke to her and said, look at you. You're empty. You keep going back to this. You know what? Get yourself together, said the mirror. And as that mirror spoke silently to her, she made a phone call. And she began to weep. And as she wept to the person that was on the other line, she said, I want to change. I'm tired of this. I'm feeling like a used rag. I don't want to feel that anymore. I want to get past this challenge. I want to change. I want to transform into something better. I bet you're wondering who the person was. The person was me. And so here I am. Here I am. If I can change, you can change. You just have to be willing. Maybe it's not going to be today. But I want you to think about that story. It doesn't matter what the addiction was. You have to identify that you are in one. Remember what I said. We're going to be right back with our beautiful co-host and her segment of Trisha's Treasures. Don't go anywhere. We are going to come back with our Trisha's Treasures. Be right back. You want to join me? Join me for In Sessions. You can catch our latest episode on our YouTube page by the same name of our podcast, Vibe Talk, Facing the Lion podcast, and Healing Center. We're back. And here we are for Trisha's Treasures.
The more I think about change, the more I realize that change is different for everyone, especially the time, the duration, everything with change. And I was thinking about, because I love reading the Bible, I was thinking about how the Moses was leading the Israelites to the land of milk and honey, and I was reading those three books over the past time in my life, and it's just, I think about it and I always say I would never mess up that bad. I would never do it like that. I always say it like that, and then I step back as I got older, and I step back and I think about, you know what? They were human, and I'm human too. And I do. We call it messing up, but now I see it as challenges. We do fall back sometimes. We do struggle sometimes, and it does make the change take longer sometimes. It makes the change harder sometimes. And I just think about, wow, that is true. That's very, I'm on the outside looking in of someone else's transformation in front of me. It makes me be more, um, have more empathy for them, because I see that they're trying, and I see that. And I wonder, do they see it? Do they see it? Or are they like me, where I don't see it until someone tells me? Or I don't see it until I feel like, yeah, I changed. And it's so important. And I'm glad we mentioned the vision board, because I was just discussing that with somebody. I was saying there's a lot of people that have vision boards, and I was thinking maybe I should make one. And then my mom, she was talking to me. She was like, I write stuff on my calendar. And she said, that's my vision board. I write things on my calendar, things I want to do. And she said, sometimes some of the things are just there. I don't even do them. And she said, why did I even write that on there? I didn't do it. And that's how it is with our goals and change. We write something on our calendar, we write something on our schedule, we write something in our minds and say, I would like to change this. I would like to do this. And then we realize and we think about, did I take the time to find time to make that change? Or did I just put it at the back of my mind? Or flip the calendar over to the next month and forget about what I wrote for this month? That sort of thing. So, in closing, if you have something that you want to change, something that you feel it needs change, it's up to you whether you take it as a priority or you flip the calendar over and go on to the next month and forget about it. It's up to you whether you put it in your mind and you put it into action, or you put it at the back of your mind and say, let me do it later. I can do this later. So I wish you all encouragement and motivation in finding change or wanting to change.
You want more of Trisha's Treasures? Go to our YouTube and find her segment. And thank you, Trish. Excuse me. Today's segment is brought to you by our Healing Center. Don't forget about our Healing Center. Our Healing Center is open to anyone that wants to come. And yes, we do video, one-on-ones, group video, whatever you want to break through, change, talk about. We are here. Please support us. All of our work is supported by donations, and we only want you to do so when you feel that need. We are doing so much, and the Healing Center needs so much uh, to be able to help the community, the neighbors, and we are doing this. For those of you who have been with us, we want to say a gracious thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Thank you. Both Trish and I are so appreciative of everything that you guys do to support. And you can support us on our Cash App at Vibetalkfacethelion. And thank you. We wish everyone to break through while transforming. Today's song is going to be chosen by Trish. And what I like that we've been doing with our segmented podcast, we're linking the songs to it. So that's why we're choosing the songs that we do. Every time we come on live, in order for you guys to know when, we're first of all asking you to get notified by following our page. Every time we're on live, you'll see that. You guys are really finding us, and we appreciate that. Lines are always open. 1-888-721-9260. You can leave a message. Please don't hang up, because otherwise we don't know that you're calling. You can leave your thoughts, your comments. You can make an appointment. No matter where you live, we want this to reach as far as it has reached. Thanks, everybody, and we wish you transformation while breaking through. Thank you, Trish, for all that you do. Have a good day.